Kaohsiung Tzu Chi volunteers join with the community to help a family clean up after a fire in just half a day. Looking to make a difference in climate change, Tzu Chi volunteers urge the public to take action to protect the planet. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Marilee Shoda. Thank you for joining us. We begin today's program in Malaysia, where the recent flood has damaged 2 dialysis centers in Penang. Tzu Chi volunteers took in the patients as well as helped clean up the respective damaged dialysis centers. Meanwhile, Butterworth Tzu Chi volunteers went to 11 flooded zones and emergency shelters to distribute hot meals for the victims. Days of heavy rain has caused flooding in Butterworth, where many roads are closed, with affected residents unable to return home. Butterworth Tzu Chi volunteers have prepared hot meals, bread, and drinking water to be distributed. The volunteers travel to the disaster areas and deliver the food door to door, making sure the trapped flood victims won't go hungry while waiting for help. In Penang, the flood has devastated 2 dialysis centers. After the water receded, 4 dialysis centers' floor and the dialysis equipment have been covered with mud and dirt. The dialysis patients have to move to other centers. Upon learning of the news, Tzu Chi volunteers mobilized to help clean up the place. When Brother Lee came, I told him we don't have water now. Then he brought us 2 barrels and asked people to bring water here. They are now cleaning the place with water jets. Thank you, Tzu Chi. Thank you.
When we came, we discovered there is mud all over the floor, and the dialysis equipment is also covered with mud. So we worked with volunteers at 4E Dialysis Center to clean up the place. Meanwhile, Prima Dialysis Center in Butterworth is still flooded and unable to operate. Tzu Chi Dialysis Center in Butterworth is taking in the dialysis patients temporarily so they can still undergo dialysis treatment.
Today is 8 patients at this moment, 8 patients. Tomorrow they're still planning to send a few of the patients, so they really appreciate what we already done for them. And then also, this is the way how we really helping each other among the dialysis unit and also among the staff.
This place is very beautiful and clean. All the decorations are neat.
I really admired them because this building is very clean and comfortable.
We really appreciate Tzu Chi's help, which enabled us to get through the difficult time.
The volunteers are doing their best to help out, hoping that the dialysis centers can soon operate normally again. Also helping to clean up after a disaster are the Tzu Chi volunteers from Kaohsiung, Taiwan, who joined with Mr. Chen's neighbors to assist in a fire cleanup at Mr. Chen's home.
The forensics is doing their final examination of the scene of the fire, while Tzu Chi volunteers and community volunteers are waiting outside. However, since no electricity is running, the volunteers must do it in the dark. Using just the light from their cell phones, the volunteers are still able to clean out the floors and the walls. 2 days ago, the homeowner returned home from his dialysis treatment. Then soon afterwards, the first floor caught on fire. He suffered from smoke inhalation from alerting his family to evacuate. Tzu Chi volunteers who lived nearby came at once to console him.
I could smell the strong smoke from my home. The site was closed off, so we immediately asked the home visitation team to come here and do an initial care.
The broadhead members of the community and Tzu Chi volunteers came together and cleaned up the place in just half a day.
It would have taken our volunteers all day to clean up the place, so we want to thank Tzu Chi volunteers for helping us.
The volunteers brought this frightened family emergency cash to show their support.
It's been 4 years since Typhoon Haiyan struck central Philippines. The catastrophic damages were the worst felt in the history of natural disasters. Now those residents who were lucky enough to survive have begun a new life with a more stable housing than before.
重创菲律宾的莱特省。它除了带走无数条的生命，也
When
剥夺
Typhoon
了
Haiyan made landfall in Leyte province of the Philippines, it took away countless lives and destroyed many people's way of living. The convention center in Tacloban turned into an emergency shelter to host all those in need of shelter, while different charity organizations and international NGOs arrived in the country to
各
help.
国的救援团体以及国际的 NGO 组织，在第一时间都集结在这里，展开爱的行动。
Kain na po tayo. Pwede ka magdala din po ng kaldero?
As the convention center becomes a temporary home for some, others who couldn't fit into the space took up residence outside in tents.
Nakaupo na lang.
Some sleep sitting, some are balled up, others sleep near the feet of others, as long as they have a place to sleep.
The convention center has since repaired its skylight, which broke, and a statue was erected outside in memory of the 6,300 lives which were lost. This name list does not include those who are still missing.
Where's your friend's name?
Here is my friend's name. Okay, it was, I think, not 2017. It's 4 years ago. And then I was able to recover during my emotional. After Yolanda, I got depressed, so I went to a medication for depression.
That night, she survived thanks to a bucket, but her friend was not so lucky. Looking at the calm ocean now, Rowena has learned how to move on with her life since the devastation.
I believe that after the rain, there is always a rainbow after the rain. So I think that serves a lesson also.
4年的时间过去了，现在的独武湾街头车水马龙，店家都
4
已经
years
开
has
门。
passed and the streets of Tacloban are filled with vehicles and the stores have reopened once more. Selling items through gates and guards standing by with guns are a thing of the past. Things are back to how things were before Haiyan made landfall, but this result has been a long journey.
其实经历了一段很长的等待。
3日来啊，伫咧夹啊，伫咧头脱，伫咧抢，伫咧抢。你无惊哇？你点知？啊，人都搞清啊。
This sense of helplessness is shared by many store owners after the storm passed. This other store, which sold stationary items, took 5 months to restock their store for reopening.
It took me a whole year to recover, as I could only do it alone.
With store robbery high in the aftermath of Haiyan, the shop near the ocean cleverly avoided such fates.
My metal shutters were blown open, and I asked these vendors to set up here, so my things didn't get stolen.
The street vendors were grateful for Wu for not charging rents and helped watch over his store for him. But as Wu's shop is a hardware store, the metals rusted after the water receded.
Everything had to be discarded. I only had about 1% recycling rate.
The Chinese community represents about 5% of the entire Tacloban population, yet they are the main pillars of economic support for the community. Wu chose to stay and rebuild with the rest of the community. After the storm passed, only this tall tree remains of the forest, which has become a symbol of hope for the residents here. It's been 4 years since Haiyan, and this damaged city has risen from the ashes. During COP23, which is taking place in Bonn, Germany, an American scientist specializing in climate has proposed the idea of raising carbon taxes to fight global warming. In addition, Tzu Chi volunteers who are attending the conference believe everyone should pay more attention to fighting global warming as to bring about a real change to protect Mother Earth.
American climate scientist James Hansen held a press conference at the UN Climate Change Conference 2017 in Germany to promote many ideas in fighting against global warming.
Science is clear. CO2 is the principal control knob that controls global temperature.
We have to phase off of fossil fuels. We need to do it at a rate that does not cause economic disruption, but this can easily be done if we have an across-the-board rising carbon fee or carbon tax. That actually will spur the economy if the money that is collected is given to the public.
City volunteers also seized the occasion to attend the conference and learn.
For instance, those of us who want to protect the environment can ask the people who are damaging the environment, why are you doing this? Do not mind what other people are doing, but focus on gathering everyone's strength to do something. Just as the Master has said, we cannot wait anymore. Therefore, everyone needs to take actions now.
Average citizens should also pay attention to this issue. The government was able to reject this agreement because people do not care about this. Therefore, if we, as commoners, can understand this issue about its impact on the country and the planet Earth, this will no longer be an issue concerning the country only, but one that concerns the society.
To fight global warming, we need to work together wholeheartedly. It is important that everyone takes action to protect the environment, which is one of the best solutions.
Sierra Leone experienced flooding and landslides in August this year, with many people losing their belongings, homes, and lives. City volunteers have since provided the Freetown region with rice to eat and even gifted shelter residents with a rice bowl and a spoon, so they may establish better hygiene habits in the future.
My mission at the Juba camp is for me to seek the interests of the survivors. My citizens and my colleagues in these camps are facing a lot of constraint.
This is Juba camp, the first day, and we're coming over here to serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
It is a nice suggestion that came up 3 days ago to us for someone to come with food, because food is one of the most priority of every humanhood.
They are creating a voucher system. The voucher is working like we have 58 tents. Each tent's average is 5 to 10 person. So they're going to prepare 445 vouchers for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner.
On behalf of our founder, Master Zhang Yan, we would like to give you the rice bowl.
Today we provide rice bowl. So we're going to empower children. They have their own rice bowl with the spoon, to use the spoon rather than hands. So it's very important to build up their health concept. That's what Master say, education from the youth, the youngest, will be the most important one. There's so many children. There's a child learning camp.
We are number one. We are number one. We are number one. We are number
Yes, school is not on now. They have a place where some teachers come and teach them.
We are offering psychosocial counseling for both the adults and the kids, and we are also providing teaching for the kids.
It was nighttime when the water came on Monday. We were sleeping. By 5 o'clock, the water began to flood and destroy everything. As we were leaving, a big stone came and damaged the house. A lot of people also died at Mambolo compound.
Oh, my granddaughter.
Oh, my granddaughter. I told you that I lost my daughter. I took in her 6-year-old and her baby, a 1-year-old. They never lived with another family. Only me. I am all they have now.
It is important to empower them here in the camp, helping them, empowering them, especially the girls, empowering them.
Yes, they come and teach us a few things. They teach us how to read and write.
They will teach me to write. over there?
I want him to go to school. Let him go and educate. I want him to be somebody in this society so that he too can help the others.
I want to go to school. I want to learn doctor.
I want to go to school so I can become a doctor because I want to be able to help the people of Sierra Leone.
So we want to empower them, talk to them, teach them and train them that all is not lost, there's still hope.
"20 years ago, a group of Kaohsiung professors felt children from single-parent families needed an after-school program to prevent future behavioral problems. Thus, subsequently, the Huayuan Children's Service Center was created. Over the years, the program has expanded from single-parent families to include other disadvantaged children. The number of students from college and universities volunteering as tutors has also increased from 1 to more than 10. And the number of after-school courses has increased to 9 locations. These professors and volunteer tutors have shown selfless love and dedication for these disadvantaged school children.
你要不要重画一个给他算了，重写一个？
对啊，就一直算不出来这一题到底怎样。
我验算一下，我从小学5、6年级我就在花园。
From the 6th grade, I joined Huayuan. I gave up my studies at that time, and then I was inspired to study again. After high school, whenever I had time, such as weekends or holidays, I would come and help. Now I am in the university. When I have time, I come back to help.
你这一题是对的，然后这一题是错的，然后我教你一个方法。
I'm also from a single-parent family. Usually when I go back home, I just sit and watch TV by myself, or I do my homework. In the future, I want to become a social worker because I know what many of them are thinking, and I know how to help them because I led a similar life and had the same experiences.
前面刚刚讲的部分有没有任何的疑问你想要问我的，或者是我讲的不清楚，或者是你还有什么地方还是很模糊的地方需要我再做解释的，有吗？
中山大学有一个教职员联谊会，其中有一位同仁，他是
National Sun Yat-sen University has an educators union, and there's a college in the social work department who found that 20% of the children at Kaohsiung Elementary are from single-parent families. We call upon some college students to come and help these students at Kaohsiung Elementary with free after-school counseling.
带着走了，来第二组，来第一组跟在后面。
This is to give them a career focus, hoping these children can think independently about profession from middle school to high school.
最早是因为是扩大就业进来，可是因为我现在
At the beginning, we wanted to expand employment opportunities for these children, but then we learned that this probably isn't the best for children. Why don't these children have anyone at home? I'm a mother, and I know that these children can get some love by being by my side, and I know that what they want is someone to accompany them, so that's why I continue.
我们发现有好多小朋友。
We found a lot of kids can be quite lonely and withdrawn because of their families. Taking care of their homework alone is not enough. So we started to hire a full-time social worker to come in contact with these children and conduct home visits.
小朋友的学校以及他的家以及家访。
每一个人都是。
Everyone is precious and everyone deserves to have a starting point or a beginning to allow them to develop their future potential.
According to the Taiwan Association of Family Medicine, more than 40% of people over the age of 40 have experienced vertigo, with different causes for such dizziness. In Chinese history, Emperor Gaozong of the Tang Dynasty was also a vertigo sufferer. His symptoms were alleviated with acupuncture and bloodletting therapies. In our next report, we learn about how TCM treatments can lessen the symptoms of vertigo.
In Chinese medicine, vertigo is classified into deficiency and excess types, with most cases being deficiency syndrome. They include vertigo caused by irregular eating habits, anemia, or auditory vertigo. Meanwhile, excess syndrome are usually caused by high blood pressure and strokes, and come with tinnitus and facial redness.
To treat deficiency vertigo, we may nourish the liver and kidney. People can consume tianma, chrysanthemum, wolfberry, longyan, or sesame. For excessive vertigo, such as those caused by phlegm retention, we can drink herbal tea made with attractaloids or raw ginger.
In addition, one can press certain acupuncture points to alleviate the vertigo symptoms as well as prevent vertigo.
For motion sickness, we compress the Neiguan point. To treat inner ear imbalance, we compress the Yifeng point to activate the blood circulation near the ears. If the vertigo is caused by deficiency of the liver and kidney, we compress Tai Chi point near our ankles.
According to history, Emperor Gaozong of Tang Dynasty suffered from dizziness. Imperial doctors Zhang Wenzhong and Qin Minghe thought it was caused by a surge of adverse qi. They applied acupuncture and bloodletting therapies and alleviated Emperor Gaozong's symptoms.
When there is a surge of one's blood and qi in Chinese medicine, we call it stagnation of the qi. If one's qi is stagnant and the blood circulation is poor, the blood will accumulate at the head. The Chinese medicine treatment is simple. We release the qi.
Traditional bloodletting therapy can cause infection, and therefore most people choose acupuncture nowadays. 57-year-old Ms. Strong is a sufferer of Meniere's disease, and upon waking up, she feels dizzy and too weak to work. Her symptoms are alleviated with acupuncture and medication.
Before I received treatment, suffering from vertigo is like a time bomb which can explode at any moment. However, after taking Chinese medicine and having acupuncture, the effects are obvious. My symptoms were quickly alleviated.
As health regimen, foot bathing can improve a person's circulation and decrease the occurrence of vertigo.
Foot bathing can activate the qi and blood circulation, improving the problem of stagnant heat in the head. In Chinese medicine, it's best to raise the clear qi and lower the foul qi. When the qi rises up, one's mind becomes clear. As the foul qi lowers, one will have better stability and won't feel dizzy.
The doctor reminds people it is important to have adequate sleep and avoid a high-sodium diet, so the balance of body fluid can be maintained. It is also essential to keep in high spirits and lessen one's pressure. These are all ways to avoid the occurrence of vertigo.
At the Tzu Chi recycling station in Gangshan, Kaohsiung, volunteers recently set up a display center to exhibit how plastic bottles are broken down and remade into wearable clothes. This setup has impressed many of the visitors to the recycling station. We'll leave you with these images at the end of the program. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.